Hey there, Marina Ormes here with your Astro vibe for Friday, October 28th. I am super excited because the topic for today is 3 ways to imagine a new world into existence. And I'm just really excited because um, this topic was inspired by Jupiter's retrograde movement back into Pisces. So, so Jupiter went into Aries. Jupiter is one of those outer, slower moving planets. Was in Aries for a while and now has gone retrograde and is backing into Pisces. Where it was so before for about a year, right? A little less than a year this time, but anyway, Jupiter going back into Pisces shifts the energy of what we believe in and how we're telling the story. And so if you missed yesterday, I was talking about the Sagittarius moon and how we're making sense of what's going on. And we did, of course, have a potent and control dissolving Scorpio eclipse and new moon. So that there was a transformation process going on with that Scorpio eclipse. And when the moon went into Sagittarius early yesterday morning, that's when things shift into Sagittarius. We start making sense out of what happened when it was in Scorpio. So with the moon going from Scorpio to Sagittarius, we are experiencing that on a small scale, right? It's a day-to-day scale, but anyway, that's the vibe. And that was yesterday's vibe, and today's vibe also. We're still with the moon in Sagittarius, so themes of how we're making meaning, how we're telling the story. But last night we had Jupiter, which is the ruler of Sagittarius, again going retrograde into Pisces. So when Jupiter was in Aries, it brings that energy of expansion to action and fighting, right? Warrior energy. It's courage, but it's also aggression and the experience of feeling like you're in a battle. So you might have noticed that's been going on in the collective, at least maybe in your life also, this feeling of a real struggle, a real fight for what's going to happen and who's going to have control, certainly politically and in many other ways as well. So now Jupiter has gone back into Pisces. Now Jupiter in Pisces does a couple things. It brings this feeling of confusion and delusion more into our beliefs, into the ways that we understand things and tell stories. So that potential for lies, the potential for conspiracies and delusional thinking and confusion about what's true, what's right, that can be there. But also with Jupiter in Pisces, we also have this capacity to imagine and to dream that is much expanded, and it takes us into realms where possibility really becomes limitless. And so when we are consciously choosing to work with that energy in a way that is grounded, that has appropriate boundaries, that says, no, I'm not just going to believe anything I'm told just because somebody says it. I'm actually going to question and fact check and all that stuff. But when we're doing those things, then this capacity to say, wow, let's really allow ourselves to imagine what could be, what we could create, what we want to create. What is the dream? What is the vision? What does that look like? And so imagining in that sense that we are creative beings and can have limitless imagination, if not limitless like ability to create everything we want instantly, we can tap into that imagination quality. And as we do that, we we want to take that energy and use it to help to create the new worlds that we imagine, the dreams, the visions that we have. So here are 3 tips, 3 ways that I can share with you that can help you work with this energy of imagination and imagining a new world into existence. So number 1, we've already been talking about. Number 1 is dream big. So don't allow anything to limit your thinking, right? Let yourself dream big. Let yourself truly imagine what would inspire you, what would make you feel filled and fulfilled, and as though the world is the place that you can imagine. So let yourself imagine that. Don't, this is not the time to entertain, well, that can't happen because of XYZ. Just let all that thinking about what we can't do, let it go, because this is the time to dream and imagine. And in your dreams, you can do anything. So this is the time to work with that energy and connect with what it would be if there were no limitations. Okay, so number 1 is dream big. Number 2 is tell the story of that possibility. So yesterday we were talking a lot about the narrative and the words we choose. So this is really important here in this context. So now that you've imagined, now that you've connected with the dream or the potential, look at the words you're using as you describe what's happening now. Are you using words that put limits on what's possible, or are there different words you could use? So with the example of climate change, are you telling stories about doom? Are you telling stories about how bad things are? Are you telling stories about what can't happen? Or are you focusing on what is happening, the innovative solutions that are taking place, the ways that human beings have shifted around things like this in the past, the ways that we can pivot the approaches we have? And again, you're going to feel those limitations sneaking in. They're going to come in and say, yeah, but like, is that really realistic? So just notice those. And that brings us to number 3, which is notice and question the limitations. So when you notice that those limitations are there, say, well, okay, how would I tell this story if I were truly, truly believing in that big dream that you got in touch with in step 1? So ask yourself, okay, and it's an exercise, right? It's not a perfect thing. Like, you're not going to make limitations go away just by stating it, but it's a really good exercise to get yourself to think about how you are placing limits on yourself that maybe don't always need to be there, or don't need to be there in exactly the way that you're putting them there. And so it helps you to become aware of how you might be limiting possibility through your own beliefs, or what feels safe, or what makes you feel in control. So that's how we can work with that. So number 1 was, and this is 3 ways to imagine a new world into existence. Number 1 is dream big. Let yourself imagine without limitation. What would you have if you could have anything? Number 2 is tell the story of possibility. So look at the words you're using to express that possibility, and to bring them in terms of how you're telling the story, what words you're using, how you talk about it, how you explain it, how you make sense of it. Are you using words that invite in infinite possibility? Are there any words you might choose or use differently? Number 3 is notice and question limitations. So noticing the words that you're using, the way you're telling the story, and how that might be placing some limits on your beliefs about what's possible. And then question that, what would it look like for you to reframe this, for you to tell it in a different way, for you to tell it in a way as if you believed in it, just to pretend, even if you don't believe in it, just pretend. What would that look like? How would you do that? And it's a great thought experiment. It's a great way to help you get in touch with awareness about how you could be thinking about things differently, or looking at things differently, or sharing your beliefs with others in a way that invites in more possibility. And then you can co-create that with the people you're having conversations with, and it just grows from there. So hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for imagining a better world with me. And I'd love to hear your comments and what you notice about any limiting thinking, or where you can shift, or how you can tell the story of the big dream and what's possible when you get beyond limitations. And that's what's possible for us today. We are also soon on the 30th, we're going to have Mars stationing to go retrograde. So that's also part of this energy of questioning how we are framing things, and noticing the ways we place limitations on things that maybe we don't need to. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for subscribing and following me, and being part of this support for unshakable self-care, inspiration, and ways of creating a better world. All right. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.